Thank you for availing yourself for this interview under the theme of role of faith and influence of policing in GBV and political imprisonment, as you were part of the Pan-African pilgrimage. So I just have questions for you. But before we get into the questions, can you please introduce yourself? Who is Vanessa? This amazing, energetic Vanessa.
Thank you so much for that. I need to live up to that expectation. Okay, so I'm Vanessa Mitchell. I work for Robben Island Museum in the education department. I'm the coordinator for a program called the African Program in Museums and Heritage Studies, which is a bit of a misnomer because it used to be a postgraduate diploma that we used to facilitate, a 9-month program in museums and heritage studies, but that has subsequently stopped. But the name still remains, and we still do programs with audiences, particularly adult audiences, not only from South Africa but across the continent. Hence the name African Program in Museums and Heritage Studies. So we facilitate seminars, workshops, programs on the island, overnight camps on the island. We also have a museum exchange program where we also facilitate programs with a museum, particularly local museums or smaller museums, so we can learn from them about how they do their program. And that's me. I've been with Robben Island. In fact, I celebrate 28 years this year, the 6th of January. It's 28 years at Robben Island Museum.
Wow.
So, so I know a little bit about Robben Island Museum, just a little. So that's me. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, Vanessa. I must say that meeting you already and seeing how you love the work that you are doing, it's really encouraging. So tell me, how was the Pan-African experience pilgrimage for you?
Look, it was a learning experience for me. Firstly, my knowledge around the whole idea of gender-based violence, interpartner violence, that whole concept of that I was a bit naive about it. But it was quite a, like I said, a learning curve for me. Learning that we have similar experiences as other African countries on the continent have with us. It was also encouraging to see the kind of work that people are doing around this, and the lessons we can take from it. So I think it was a really good experience for me, learning from other people and from other countries. I'm not sure if you want me to also answer about the pilgrimage to the island, or just the whole idea of the Pan-Africanist conference.
I think you can also just add in terms of even with taking the delegates to the Robben Island.
I think besides the logistics that we had a bit of a challenge with in terms of getting the delegates there. For me, it's always having taken people to Robben Island over the last 28 years. Each experience is a new experience. And for me, having taken the delegates, particularly the delegates of that within that context of being, leaders in their various countries, being faith-based, was a really good experience. Other groups that I've taken to the island have come with obviously other intentions. But the whole pilgrimage and the liturgical manner in which we unpack the history of the island, I think is really something that that we should do more of. And I think the delegates came away with quite a lot, although we were quite rushed. I think we captured a lot of the essence of the island, looking at each and every site that we went to, which was really good, and people were able to reflect on it. And I think that's our challenge also in Robben Island. We're not giving people enough time to reflect on being on the island and immersing themselves within the spaces. So I think for next time, we really need to perhaps plan better in terms of the time that we spend on the island. I mean, we did plan that we could stay over and have the whole pilgrimage overnight. So I think, you know, it even though we were restricted to the time that we were, I think it was a really great way of presenting the island to people. Dr. Elizabeth was also good. I think the two of us did quite a nice job in co-facilitating that program. I mean, my knowledge about Robben Island and Dr. Elizabeth's knowledge around the faith-based and the religion or the faith aspects of it, which is really a great concept, and I wish we could have had more time. But I think overall, people came away with a great experience. They got to touch and feel the island. It wasn't just a rush, although we were rushed, but it wasn't also a rush. We did what we went to do, but I would suggest that if we had another opportunity, that it becomes an overnight pilgrimage or a longer time for people to do a lot more reflection. And I also like the fact that people were open to the way in which we presented the island to them. The pilgrimage in that methodology is not an everyday thing. It's very unique to this context, but we've done it before, but it's not done often enough, I think. I don't know, maybe people are afraid of the whole faith-based thing, but I think this one was done really very well because it included Islam, it included Christianity, and I'm sure if we can include Judaism and any other kind of religion within the liturgy, because like the prisoners on the Robben Island said, they were not just Christians, they were a whole range of faiths, African culture, you know, so it really lends itself to include all kinds of faiths. I think, but it was I think for me personally, it was great. It was a great opportunity for me again to share Robben Island with people in that manner. Yeah.
Thank you so much for this. It's so informative, and also it gives someone an insight of how was it, whereas we see in photos and the excitement from the delegates. They are still talking about it, the experience, because some of them they're born in Cape Town, they've never been in Robben Island. So it was really a great opportunity for them to be there. So can you say what are the challenges in your working of industry, as you've been working for Robben Island for 28 years now? What are the challenges as you observe in this country in addressing GBV?
Yeah, I think, you know, from a female perspective, I think it's that fear of if I report my partner, I'm going to be without a partner. I think women's fear around being alone, not having support from their partner is very high on the agenda. I think, you know, I don't know if it's about education, you know, teaching women that we don't need a partner you need it in some respects, but if the person is abusing you or physically or mentally, it's not your fault. And I think sometimes that is the challenge with women, that we're always blaming ourselves. What did I do, or what did I not do? So I think it's about education about women and teaching women that we can stand on our own feet. I think it's about education, about programs to help women to overcome that fear, and also create spaces for women and I think there are spaces where women can go and safe and feel safe, the homes that they are. So I think it's just, for me, it's about that fear of, number one, reporting, fear of being alone, and fear of what other people are going to say if I do report this. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I think as you are saying, the fear and maybe lack of knowledge of those spaces that are available for them to speak about it. As I remember when we went for the St. Anne's, you would hear people, the women there, they will tell you that not really that they want to leave their partners. Sometimes they want their partners to be helped, so that they can get their help, they can pull their families back. So I think I agree with you that lack of knowledge, education, that if they can be maybe as well, and fear. So in your own understanding, what is the role of faith and culture in addressing GBV or IPA, intimacy and abuse?
Look, I think it has a role to play. Although, in African society, and we know that this whole patriarchy, this patriarchal society where the man is the head of the house and he must provide, he must be the breadwinner, he must be in charge of everything. It's quite difficult. It's quite a challenge if we are cultural practitioners, and in your home it says that the man must be the head of the house. It's quite a challenge as a woman to challenge that. And I'm not sure, I don't live within a Black African space, so I can't, and I don't live in a heterosexual space, where I can say that the man is that. But I think it's a real challenge for women to overcome that patriarchal notion of that idea. Faith, it has a role to play. I'm not sure how they do it, but I think again it's about that education and teaching. And if we're talking faith, what does, for example, in Christianity, what does the Bible say? What does the Quran say? What does the Torah say? I'm not sure in the African tradition, what do the ancestors say about this? I think if we interrogate that within our various faiths, I think we will find the answers. I don't have the answer, but I'm saying that faith has a role to play in helping to educate people. I just want to give you an example. This morning we had a meeting, and we have this employee wellness program, and somebody asked if this employee wellness can help to draw up a prenuptial agreement. And I'm saying, do you have prenuptial agreements in African tradition? Do you?
I'm not sure.
You understand what I'm saying? It's our faith and our culture might be two different things completely. You know what I mean? So we want to be faith, we want to go the faith route, but our culture says something else. So I think it's finding that balance. I'm not sure if we should be making a choice between the two, but a balance between the two. And I think where the two can meet each other, that's where we'll find our answer.
How is SAFFI's work relevant in eradicating GBV and IPA in an African continent?
Yeah.
Your
Yeah.
own
No, I
understanding.
think, yeah. I think you guys are doing great work. I mean, I must say, I only heard of SAFFI when I heard from you guys. But having spent, what was it, 2-3 months, we were planning this program. SAFFI has really done huge strides. I mean, to go into Ghana, Cameroon,
No, Liberia,
Liberia, you know,
Mm.
Gambia. These are countries that far from us, you know, and hard to get to. So I think SAFFI is really on the right track. What I would, I mean, I know you guys are deep in Africa. I mean, in terms of your footprint in South Africa, I think you could elevate your footprint a little bit more than, you know, they always say charity begins at home.
Yes.
You know, so I think your footprint in South Africa, like I said, I didn't hear about you until I met you guys. So I think, and I think, I mean, I really commend you and Dr. Elizabeth for the initiatives. And I think the exhibition at
Slave Lodge.
is, Slave Lodge is really great. And the other work you're doing with men, I think that's the most important part, that you have decided to work with men as well, because men are the perpetrators. We know that. The other day, a woman was walking late at night, and my partner said, "Oh, that woman is walking so late at night." I said, "No, why can't a woman walk late at night? Why can't I wear my short pants and my hot pants? It's not for you, it's for me." You know, so I think your work with men and men affirming dignity project is brilliant, and I wish that we could highlight that program, because I think there are lots of programs to assist women, but that MAD program, I think it's brilliant. It's for me, I think it's more poignant than the working with women, because there are organizations. I'm not saying you mustn't. I'm saying there are organizations, there are centers for women, but I'm not sure if there might be, if there are any other organizations who work with men. But I think that for me is SAFFI's, I think, tick box there. I will give you a great tick for that.
So do you have any last words before we close our conversation?
It's just a thank you for choosing Robben Island Museum to collaborate with last year. I think it was really a great initiative. Previously we had a program again with our schools program, and we had some other people join. But I think it was really an eye-opener for me. Also the collaboration with you, which also strengthened our relationships with other African countries, which was really good, because Robben Island is a World Heritage Site. We don't just belong to South Africans, we belong to the world. So I think that connection there was really good. It was really, really good for me to work with you guys. I've learned from the way you do things, and I'm sure you've learned from the way we do things. It's Robben Island can be a funny place to work with, because we have boats, we have an ocean, we have a lot of other things to consider. So what you might think is just, let's just get catering. Yeah, but how's it going to get to the island? It's quite a challenge. But I mean, it's things that we learn from each other all the time. So I think for me, it was great to work with SAFFI. And I think the program went pretty well. It was very well received. And yeah, thank you.